Alright guys, well I am here trying to put in a new sump pump in my basement. I ended up just cutting the bottom and then the whole thing came out. So that was nice. Now I have the task of putting a new sump pump in. I ordered this one and I just have it lined into my house to discharge it out, and got a new sump pump. Got a check valve, pipe to connect to the existing pipe, the little dealio thing that screws into the pump. I still have to cut this in half so I can put one half on the pump and then the check valve on top of it, other part on top of that, and then connect it to the metal pipe. So I used the 1/8 inch drill bit to create a hole in the bottom half of the PVC pipe. This is a weep hole pump to work properly. Without this, it will cause problems for you in the future. So create some kind of breathe hole in the PVC pipe that goes into the pump, but before the check valve. So it should be below the check valve, but above the pump. Also suggested just to use a 5-gallon bucket, old bucket, to drill 3/8 of an inch holes in the bucket, starting a couple inches up. And that can just be your water basin. Instead of just going and buying an expensive water basin, you can just use a old 5-gallon bucket, like this Home Depot one. So listen here, guys. Don't use such an old bucket that has a crack down the middle of it, because they say the structural integrity does have to be somewhat solid, otherwise you get another old bucket. I'll use this one instead. And they did say just to throw something solid on the bottom, just to keep the pump level. So I'll wrap the thread that's going into the pump with some Teflon tape, and I'll probably just put on just a little bit of pipe joint compound, just like pipe dope, just something to help make sure it has a good seal around it and doesn't leak. Alright guys, next step is you're going to want to apply some purple primer and some PVC cement. Nasty, especially the purple primer. To stain everything purple. Purple mess, I've been told, stains everything, and so wear gloves. I also had to use a wrench, open-ended, or crisp wrench, to open it, because it's before you prime and cement it, because then you don't have to worry about it dripping down into your pump. But if you made that mistake like me, I just kind of shoved a paper towel down there just to avoid it going into the pump, any of that liquid and everything. So what I'm going to do is essentially coat the outside of this tube, PVC pipe, and the inside of the threaded unit that goes into the pump. And once I got that in, I'm going to push this in and hold it for about 30 seconds while it does its thing. So first you want to do the purple primer, purple stuff, and then you'll want to use the cement after the purple stuff is on there. Alright guys, next the check valve. Just make sure that arrow is pointing up when you attach it to your tube. So it's going to go from this tube to the tube above it, to the metal pipe, existing pipe, if you're doing it that way. If you don't have the existing pipe, obviously you just run a PVC pipe all the way out and outside. But I'm connecting the existing line that goes into my housing unit that goes into my septic. So guys, as you get the check valve on, it looks something like this. Get the brackets on nice and tight. Make sure that arrow, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the arrow is up. Yeah, up position, not down. Down won't work. When you get that one tight, this one still is leaving loose because I haven't put the other part of the PVC up. So I have to measure it from the ground, from the bottom of the sump pit in the bucket and everything like that, up, and how much pipe I'm gonna need. So I gotta figure out how much I'm gonna cut before I put that piece on there. So I was originally told to go with the t-shirt to just put on the outside to help any kind of major debris going through the holes and everything to not clog up the pump. But I was told t-shirts will eventually break down sitting in water all the time, so not to do that. So instead, I'm gonna go with a window screen. I'm just gonna zip tie that thing on, just as a added filter, just to help prolong the pump's life. It's not something you need to do, I'm told, but it'll help more bulletproof that pump. Alright guys, nothing crazy, but some screen around it to help prevent any more than just the water coming through. Nothing crazy to it. Zip tie the holes, screen, and we're good to go. And then the final products. Some pumps in there, going up, shaft. Let's see if it works now. Time for the test, guys. Time for the test, guys. There's the pump. Going through. There's a window leak in. So there's a little minor leak right here. So I have to tighten that. But everything else pushed it out. No more leaks. I did have to use a metal wire to scrub this down, and then some tape. But that's what helped. And then I'll obviously tighten this to help stop it from leaking from here. But since then, works just fine. That's it. That's how you replace your pump.